Comrades, LIPSA stands in solidarity today with the thousands of workers who have taken a stand against the cost of living crisis. We particularly applaud the RMT who are having a rally in King's Cross today to demand a decent wage that all workers deserve. Let's be clear, comrades, this cost of living crisis does not affect all. It affects only the working class. The burden of inflation lies solely on those who can least afford it, the working class. You, me, our colleagues. Rising prices and stagnant wages are pushing millions into poverty. When did it become acceptable for food banks to become the normality? No individual should have to go hand in mouth. Look, they should serve as a decent standard of living. But as usual, it's the capitalist bosses who are profiteering from this chaos. It's the corporate profits and not the workers' wages that are at the heart of the cost of living crisis. The establishments want us to blame the workers for the crisis. They want us to uncritically accept the narrative that the rise in prices are an inevitable result of the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. We all know that's not true. They have simply exposed the deeply entrenched class inequalities in our society. The scale of the rise of the cost that working class people are being expected to adjust to are staggering. And this is from a government who has no appreciation of the cost of living crisis. They don't know what it's like to live hand to mouth. They don't know what it's like to have their backs to the wall. They don't know what it's like to have to make decisions about whether to heat your house, feed your children, pay your bills. Heat or eat, it's a catchy phrase, but it's not even a choice for some people, comrades. Workers in society can't and they won't take the blame and pay the price for this crisis. Everything is going up, everything except our wages. Well, enough is enough. We've had enough of our bills going up and our wages staying the same. We've had enough of being told that we're all in this together by people who cut funding for vital services. We've had enough of politicians who clap for public servants one day and freeze their pay the next. We've had enough of energy companies raising prices while raking in billions. And we've had enough of making sacrifices and adjusting. Comrades, class lines need to be drawn. No worker and no family in struggle need be on their own. They will have the power and the strength of LIPSA and the trade union movement as a whole behind them. Today, we send a clear, loud message of defiance to the bosses and the Tory government. Where state intervention is lacking, and it is lacking, the trade union movement and the working class will be to the fore, fighting for a recovery that safeguards and creates jobs. And fighting for a democratic socialist economy. The only way working class will get through this is if we do it together. We need to build a revolt of workers. A colleague of mine in LIPSA said about the summer of discontent. He aptly put it, this is the summer of anger. And this anger needs to be challenged into organised, militant resistance based on workers' power. And let this assembly here, we will use our industrial might to secure above-inflation pay rises for workers across this country. Anything less, comrades, is a pay cut. And comrades, my final message to the politicians, watch us with fear and ignore us at your peril, us the workers.